Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how we managed to down the boss Alysrazor in Firelands during Cataclysm Classic with only 2 people in the raid group. In the kill that was showcased you can see how the damage check is really tight, and it requires precise planning and optimizing cooldowns to maximize our damage output. What is most important for this is that we use our biggest damaging cooldowns, while our haste buffs are constantly increasing in a way that the cooldowns will be back up again once we get our high stacks possible. Now, the way this fight works is you have about 2 people flying in the air, while the rest of the raid group is on the ground, taking care of all the additional mobs that spawn, keeping the floor clear for you when you have to land during the firestorm. The people that are flying in the air are constantly avoiding fire clouds that deal explosive damage around them, while trying to enter fire rings, which gives a stacking haste buff to your character. Collecting this haste buff is crucial to increasing your damage output on this boss. The plan is simple then. Keep up so much damage on the boss that the 2 players who are flying are practically doing enough damage to somehow skip the last phase, which requires you to land. As this last phase is incredibly difficult, any amount of time that you save by killing the boss quicker results in less time that you have to spend on the ground. It is possible to barely survive once you reach the ground by doing special abilities that your class can abuse. For mages in this example, we used Mirror Images, a spell that clones your character and basically transfers your aggro to all mobs towards these clones. This makes you able to kite the birds on the floor while you avoid all the damaging fires. And during the last bit of damage you push to the boss, you basically just ice block and become immune to all damage for 10 seconds, while you wait for your dots to hopefully be enough to kill the boss. Doing this challenge takes incredible amounts of practice to pull off, as the biggest hindering factor was clearly the DPS check, while avoiding every bit of damage that you take. The idea for taking 2 mages simply came to mind, as this class benefits the most from the haste buff that you get from collecting the fire rings in the air. Even though I am certain that other classes should be able to complete this challenge, but with other mechanics in mind. If you were able to replicate this fight with a different class combination, then feel free to let me know in the comments. This challenge was really fun, and it truly shows the potential of pushing the game mechanics to its limits. There's also an incentive to do this with a smaller raid group, as Alysrazor drops the best mount in the game, Flame Talon of Alysrazor. And with better practice you could potentially farm this mount on a weekly basis. It is also possible to do this boss the easy way, and that is by logging into your retail character, but that's a different story. And if you're wondering how to get to the boss with all the trash mobs that are in the way, it's basically just possible to skip the trash by avoiding the patrols that are walking around. And the mobs that are inside the boss room are very simple, as you just abuse the fact that the big fire-spitting birds actually do damage to everything, including themselves. So you kite all the mobs into the fire, and once all the small mobs are dead, it becomes very easy to handle the big birds as well. Just make sure to avoid the fire on the ground. And yeah, that's it for this video. Peace.